guys, got another league match here. This one's against Jage, and I missed the camera at the start, so what happened was that I used Spore, but he had a Lumberry, and he wakes up, and this is what happens. So he wakes up, and Discharge takes me down, and that breaks my sash. So this is a Fear Smeargle I'm using. So he Magic Coats predicting my Spore, which sucks for me, and that screws me over completely, because I was supposed to Endeavor and stuff like that, but I couldn't do it, so that sucks. I bring out Articuno to take whatever hit he's going to throw at me. Even if it is Discharge super effective, it still doesn't do anything, to be honest. And Articuno takes it really nicely. So I'm going to go for a Heal Bell here just to wake up my Smeargle. And he Ice Beams, and that's really not going to do a whole lot either. I go for a Roost just because I know he's going to Discharge, and then Discharge not going to do much after Roost, so that's getting me near enough full HP again. I sort of predict a switch here, so I go for an Ice Beam, and that hits Rotom pretty nicely and does a good amount of damage to it. I know I can stay in here because Rotom, you know, it's not that high special attack, so I go for an Ice Beam, hoping he doesn't Thunderbolt, and he doesn't, so he sets up a Reflect. And I stay in here, predicting a Thunderbolt, and I'm going to try and Roost up so that I see how much Thunderbolt does, but he actually switches to Heatran, so that was a good play by him. And Heatran completely walls this Articuno. So I'm going to go out to Dragonite, which is a new Dragonite set that I made myself, and it's pretty damn good. So I take the Flamethrower like a beast, and go for a T-Wave here. And that paralyzes his Porygon 2 because it doesn't have a Lumberry anymore. So now I'm fearing the Ice Beam, so I'm going to jump straight back to Articuno to take it, and it takes it really well. So now I'm just going to go for a Hidden Power Electric, I think, predicting a switch. So I predicted the switch to Heatran, so I go for HP Electric, and it does a sort of alright amount to Kingdra. I don't know what this Kingdra is. It might set up Rain, it might be physical, Dragon Dance. I just go for an Ice Beam to do whatever, and he actually subs up. So that's pretty good job I stayed in. It allowed him not to get a free substitute. So now he knows that he can't keep subbing because I'm going to keep attacking him. So he goes to Heatran to take the Ice Beam really well. His Reflect wears off, and really it didn't matter that much to me. So I switch out to this guy, thinking he might go for a Dragon Pulse, predicting my switch to Dragonite. So I just went to him as death fodder. Now I bring out Sizzle because he's Scarfed and he'll be locked into Dragon Pulse. And he switches to Slaking, which is not a great play on his part. But Choice Band, Superpower, that's going to KO Slacking, so that's pretty good for myself. And I'm pretty much loving this Sizzle here. It's pretty damn good. He brings out Rotom, and I decide to go to Trunks, predicting a Thunderbolt, but he sets up Reflect. So he will Wisps me, which sucks because Trunks always gets burned, and I set up my Stealth Rock. So now I just play really badly, and I go for an Earthquake, predicting a switch to Heatran. But that was just completely pointless because I forgot that he could actually hit me with Shadow Ball. So here I decide to jump, and I decide to jump to Porygon Z. So he goes for a Shadow Ball, and that does nothing to PZ. So here I make a misclick, and I go for a Tri-Attack. And that was huge, that misclick, because it meant basically my entire Porygon Z's HP was gone. First I lose half, then I go back to Trunks to take the T-Bolt. Or he goes for a Will-O-Wisp, but it doesn't matter because Trunks is burned anyway. So now I decide to go back to Porygon, predicting a Shadow Ball, but he over-predicts that and goes for a Thunderbolt, and that just sucks completely. So I've lost basically all my HP for no reason whatsoever, and my Porygon Z could have been really helpful later on, but it doesn't matter. He switches to Porygon 2. I don't really want to switch. I should have really switched to Articuno here, but I just didn't think that it would be I don't know, I just didn't switch. So I just debated the options, and I decided best thing was to go for a Dark Pulse and hope for some sort of Para Flinch. So I go for that, and it doesn't happen, and he discharges, and that takes me down. So now I bring out Lando, and I'm going to go for a Superpower because it's just overpowered, and it's just really good. So that takes out Porygon 2, and his entire team was pretty much weak to Lando with its Superpower. Heatran weak to Superpower, as well as his Slacking and his Porygon 2. So I go to Trunks' death fodder just to see what move he's going to get locked into. Turns out he's locked into Dragon Pulse. So now I go back to Scizor knowing I can safely go for a superpower. Switches out to Kingdra's death fodder, and that's going to take the superpower and going to die. So down goes a Kingdra, and it didn't really do anything. So I never actually found out what sort of Kingdra it was. So Rage Jage, if you post in the comments there what sort of Kingdra that was, that'd be pretty cool. So, yeah. I go out to Frieza just as sort of, not death fodder, but because I know I can survive something. So I just go to Frieza to find out what move he's going to lock into. He locks into Flamethrower, and I go to Dragonite, and that's just going to take Flamethrowers all day long. So here I'm thinking I'm pretty safe to Thunder Wave. So he goes to an Electivire, and that I did not see coming. So I get a Motor Drive pulled off on me, and that pretty much sucks. I know he's going to Ice Punch if he's a physical Electivire, which he probably is. So I go to Articuno, and that's going to take the Ice Punch pretty well. But of course, I'm just going to leave this Articuno for death fodder, and T-Punch is going to take me out. I don't see any Life Orb damage, so I'm thinking it's going to be Expert Belt as a standard Electivire. And I'm hoping he doesn't have Fire Punch, because if he does, he has me swept. He goes for the Earthquake, so that's good. I know he doesn't carry Fire Punch, and Superpower is just going to KO Electivire, so that's good for me. And this Choice Band Scissors is just doing an amazing job. So he brings out Heatran, and I switch out, and I go back to Dragonite, because he's going to have to be locked into one move. And if it's not Dragon Pulse, then it's Flamethrower, and I'm going to be safe. So he locks into Flamethrower, and Flamethrower is going to do nothing to Dragonite. I'm going to Thunder Wave here, and he's going to be rendered completely useless. And now I'm going to Roost Up, maybe get some Power Hacks, maybe not. I don't get it. It turns out I don't get any Power Hacks at all during this game, which wasn't great, but it didn't really matter, to be honest, in the long run. And my only attacking move I have, which is going to hit Heatran, is Dragon Claw, because I have Fire Punch, and that would not be a clever option if I was to Fire Punch. So I just Dragon Claw. It's eventually going to take it out. So, yeah, that was a pretty good game there, Rage Jage. My misclick sort of cost me my Porygon, which wasn't great for me. It could have been pretty helpful, but good game nevertheless, and that's a win for me in the leagues. So I'm pretty happy with that. And, yep, I'm playing Ubers at the moment, by the way, so I'll probably get an Ubers match whenever. So comment, rate, subscribe, and peace out.